Hey, what's up everyone? It's Moonkin FTW here with a new video, and today I'm just gonna show you guys the giant park I made in RCT3 that was dedicated to all those recreations of classic pre-made roller coasters from either RCT1 or RCT2 that I remade in RCT3. And I just want to show you guys the big park that is all focused around those creations, and just point a few things out, and I'll make sure this video doesn't take ages. So without further ado, let's just go ahead and go through the park and everything that I've made around the roller coasters as well. So you enter the park right here. Now normally with I'd say most theme parks are a bunch of shops here and a bunch of buildings. Perhaps I'll make that in the near future, but for now it's a bit empty. However, there is very quickly you end up here in this kind of gathering area with a nice little garden here with some fountains and some roses. And this is one thing that I think is really nice in RCT3. There's a lot of choices in terms of like foliage, so like trees and flowers and everything, because I have these nice little bushes here and the roses and the flowers and some nice looking fountains. So there you go. All the paths, excuse me, also have lights, benches, and of course trash cans. So at night the park also looks really nice. Actually, I'm gonna just for now make sure it's at night. Maybe later I can give you guys a quick overview at night. Just now it's gonna stay at the day. So the park starts off with a few basic flat rides, just for kiddies. Mostly junior rides, if you will. We have a chair swing here, the slide, and the merry-go-round. Of course, the very first thing I made was the merry-go-round because that's obviously the first thing you make in any sort of park. Over here we have a quick go-kart track, which is pretty cool. Nothing super special, but just kind of basic, kind of fun. And as you go through the park, you'll see that I used these fences a lot right here to kind of fence off, no pun intended, the attractions like you would in a real park where you can't just walk up and go into the grass and walk into the attraction. So that's a go-kart with a very basic station, but I really like these basic stations and how they look because they look simple and effective and are kind of simple to make. So here's the chair swing, and over here we have just a little small food court, if you will, some pizzas, some drinks, information in the toilet. And again, as you can see throughout the park, I made sure I kind of filled in the gaps with not just regular trees, also with some foliage like flowers and bushes and hedges and everything to make it really look like a nice kind of realistic park. So over here, a little further, we have a nice little like small pier with another food court. As you can see, you can buy some ice cream cookies here and everything. And on this pier, you have a nice overview. It's a bit hard to see now. A bit nice overview of the wooden roller coaster that we'll get to in just a bit. But you have a nice view here. You can just chill and relax, and that's it. So the first ride I recreated is the most basic one. It's Crazy Caterpillar. It is a slightly different than in RCT1 because this one has bank turns, as you can see. It has some scenery around it, so it has a small station right here. This piece of track was too low, so I had to kind of improvise here. And again, it's kind of fenced off, as you can see, with the fences here. And it has a few decorations, like just some foliage and everything. And also, very important, I used Steelworks, which is something I used very regularly when I was designing roller coasters in like 2006 to 2008. It's really, how do you say, make the ride more, it makes the ride look a lot better. So it is custom scenery that I've used for I don't know how many times. And it's really cool to see that in this Ultimate Edition, which is the one you can buy on Steam, it still works. So nothing too special about this roller coaster. It's a Crazy Caterpillar. I can show you the stats real quick because people really like the stats. So 5.09 excitement, 4.96 in intensity, and 3.03 nausea rating. So that's the first one I made. And right next to it is this kind of like another flat ride just to fill up some space. And over here we have once again a small food court with some foliage. Now originally I had this 3-length path with just tarmac, if you will. But I thought it was a little too big. It looked like a giant avenue where cars should drive. So I kind of filled in the gaps a little bit here with some extra foliage to make it look a bit more pleasant. All right, so how about we cross the bridge and go to the left over here? So here we have another kind of area of the park with a bunch of flat rides. You have the Enterprise here and the teacups. And more importantly, we have another recreation from RCT2, and I think it was also an RCT1, but you can correct me if I'm wrong. It's wood chip. Oh, by the way, if you're interested in any of the POV footage, I have, for every single roller coaster I've recreated, I have a dedicated video on my channel with the POV included. So this is wood chip right here, a very popular pre-made roller coaster because it's very compact, it's not too cheap or not too expensive, and it has pretty good stats too in RCT2. And the excitement rating here is 6.32, 7.14 intensity, and 4.52 nausea. I'm not sure if that's the same in RCT1 or 2. Some people can check, but looks like a really nice ride. It's very this one was the easiest to make because roller coasters like this, like the wood chip, like the wooden roller coasters, you can't do much with custom supports. There is some custom scenery in there, but that would take so much time, and time these days for me is admittedly very limited because, you know, when I made roller coasters, I was 16, I was in high school, and now I'm 32 years of age and many responsibilities that occupy my life. So for now, this is it, and it still looks quite good. I made a custom station here, or custom like an extra station, and again some foliage to make it look a bit nicer. So over here we have a few more flat rides in this corner with drinks and burgers. There's not many people here because this is fairly new. So yeah, kind of empty here. And over here we have a classic Vekoma looper or Vekoma corkscrew roller coaster. Actually, it's triple corkscrew, another pre-made of course. And this one does have some more intricate custom supports. It still has these like standard support beams, if you will, and also this kind of small tunnel, which I thought was pretty nice to add. But it has this very classic, I'm not sure what to call this, like scaffolding or whatever it is. Someone can correct me in the comment section, but usually the older Vekoma loopers or the corkscrew roller coaster always have this type of support for the higher track and also the lift hill. So that's what I did. And also for these type of rides, you'll see that it also has a custom, like the catwalk as well, because that really makes the rides look more realistic for the lift hill. So there you go, that is a triple corkscrew, nothing else. Again, I built a basic station and just a small park here to kind of spruce up the queue a little bit. And this has, let's see, 6.19, 5 intensity, and 238 nausea. Actually, very low nausea rating considering it has 3 elements. Oh, my arrow. Mouse goes a bit crazy there. Right, so I had 2 recreations in mind, Mini Miner and Manic Miner. And they all kind of follow the same theming, if you will, kind of Wild West cowboy theming. So originally I made Mini Miner just here with a path, and then I was like, you know what, it would be really cool to make a dedicated Wild West section for the park, which is exactly what I made here. You can see it's very clearly a separate dedicated section that is focused around the Wild West theme, which works really well with Mini Miner, which is this one, and Manic Miner, which you'll check out in a bit. So this is Mini Miner. Didn't do a whole lot. I tried to kind of follow the scenery that Mini Miner has in RCT2 because, you know, it has a few buildings here. It does have somewhat of a station here. And again, because this has wooden supports, I didn't do too much crazy stuff with the supports in terms of custom scenery. So about the theming here, you can see a few like decorations, some buildings here. You have a bowl here, some like barrels, and just, you know, some like typically like how do you say, like foliage you'd find in, I don't know, Nevada or Utah or whatever, like, you know, the Wild West. And you also have some really cool like Western theme rides, which I really like about Roller Coaster Tycoon 3. If you go to any tab here on the flat rides, you can basically select what type of theme you're looking for. So I just very simply went to the Western theme, and there you go, it's this one. And if I want this, you can see I have a Western wheel or a Wild West show. So that's really cool. You can really match the flat rides to your theming. So over here we have, oh fuck, excuse me, I skipped over the stats. So it has 6.92 excitement, 7.72 intensity, and 4.21 nausea rating. So here we have Manic Miner, and Manic Miner is quite a sizable roller coaster, if you will. And unfortunately, because this track is very low to the station, it was really hard for me, actually pretty much impossible, to make a nice building around everything. So I kind of did it here, and for the rest I kind of made this like, I don't know, big porch, if you will, made out of wood. And that's it. So this is Manic Miner. It has the same color theme as the one in Roller Coaster Tycoon, so there's black track. This part is silver, and the supports are also kind of like silver grayish, if you will. And yeah, I love remaking this. It's a really fun ride. Looks quite awesome too. And then over here in the corner we have a Wild West show. Again, just, a few flat rides to accompany the Wild West theme and to accompany the roller coasters. Then if we move a bit over to the right, we see a very iconic, let me hide the UI, it looks a little bit better. Very iconic and very well-known Premade roller coaster, which is Fizzly, which was originally in RCT1 and also in RCT2. This is the RCT2 version, if you will, because this has, of course, has banked hills. And I had to change a little bit because the RCT2 version would not make it over this hill. And of course, later I found out you can lower the friction. I didn't know this, but it's still a good recreation. It resembles the original quite well. And again, to liven it up a little bit, I used the custom supports also for the loop, which looks really nice actually, these supports here. And of course the catwalk that kind of goes around this corner into the lift hill, and of course a custom station with a matching roof, because of course the roller coaster is yellow with white support, so I kind of followed that theming. And also some nice foliage here. I got some roses here, or tulips if you will, in the same color, so all looks very nice. Right, so we have one flat ride here to kind of fill up this space, and another flat ride here with a nice overview to the water. And for some reason, as you can see, at least in the Ultimate Edition, or at least on my PC or whatever, it doesn't like water that very well. It kind of flickers around a little bit. I don't know what that is about, but there you go. So we cross this bridge, and we end up in another kind of area where you have a few rides, including another junior ride, a small food court, and another recreation. This is Dangle Feet, a very iconic, I'd say inverted roller coaster, one of the very iconic inverted roller coasters. It has a few inversions. It's a really nice layout. Actually, it's kind of compact. And again, the layout is exactly the same as in RCT1 and 2. I didn't need to change anything. But it has these custom supports, again, to make it look a bit more realistic. It has the catwalk, and this turned out to be really cool as well. Again, I fenced everything off, and I made a custom station. I wasn't 100% convinced about this color, but it is what it is. So again, really cool ride, nice to see. And again, it was really fun to recreate this in RCT3 in this park. So over here, we have Mischief. Now, RCT2 has kind of a similar design with a few tweaks. It's called Shimmy, but this is the original one from RCT1. So this is one that doesn't have any bank turns as well. This is as old school as you can get, fully made here, just imported from RCT1 to RCT3. So yeah, it's a nice little ride here. And I kind of wanted to make this as a ranch, so you have this like wall here to kind of wall off this section, if you will, with a nice little front garden, like mini garden, and a station, like a house that says hotel, and a few other buildings here, also with some apple trees, so to kind of make this a little bit more interesting, a bit more unique. So there you go. That's Mischief, one of my favorite pre-built rides in Roller Coaster Tycoon, just because how intricate it looks with all this track here. It looks very busy, and it's an awesome ride to ride. So there you go. That is Mischief, and we can just follow the park along the path along here, and then we go and take a left to this big section here. Again, a nice fountain, like a general area where people can meet. This is one of the last areas I made, so again, there's barely any guests here. And here we have another flat ride. Oh, excuse me, I skipped over a few stats again. Excuse me. So Fizzly, let me start with Fizzly actually. So Fizzly, in terms of stats, has 6.46 excitement, 443 intensity, and 2 nausea, very low actually. And then Dangle Feet has, oh, it's actually still in test mode, so there we go, let's open it up. 7.8 excitement, 7.45 intensity, and 599 nausea, which is of course normal because inverted roller coasters also in RCT1 and 2 always have a high nausea rating. And then Mischief, also still in testing, let's throw that open. 7.45 excitement, 7.08 intensity, and 4.07 medium nausea rating, excuse me. And over here we have the giant Ferris wheel, but more importantly, one of my favorite recreations, which was Grapevine. Now this one is completely remade with the extended coaster, because Grapevine in RCT2 has this really awkward kind of like like it goes up a hill and it goes into a small corkscrew into a half loop, which, you know, you can't do really well. You can't do Immelmans and dive loops really well in RCT1, so you really have to improvise. And here I could just go nuts with the extended coaster and make this really cool looking dive loop. So it's awesome. And it for the rest, it follows mostly the same layout. And a great thing about the extended coaster also is you can use these really, really smooth kind of bank turns. If you see right here, you don't have these really awkward like pieces where you go from one little block to from banked to normal. So this feels a lot less janky, if you will. So not much to talk about here. Like I said, it follows mostly the same layout apart from this part here, where there's just a few straight pieces with a tunnel, if you will, into a dive loop, and then it follows this kind of bank turn that the original has into a large loop again, and then it goes here, turns around into this barrel roll, a few more turns, and then it goes into this half loop corkscrew, another half loop corkscrew. I'm not sure what this inversion is called. It's not a cobra roll because that means the corkscrew goes the other way around. Maybe someone in the comment section can tell me. And then it goes into these helixes and it goes back to the station. So that's pretty much Grapevine, one of my favorite recreations to do. And it also looks really cool in the POV. I highly suggest you guys check it out, of course. Then we go down and we go into the... Is this the last section? Yes, the last section with the last two roller coasters. This is the space theme, if you will. You can see very clearly with the different trees. All the flat rides are also space themed. Like this one is a planetarium. We have a planetarium here and it's some sort of like arcade, which is actually also not open yet. I know it's a bit of a mess here. I'm sorry about that. And again, a small gathering area here with a few other flat rides here. We have the space rings, the flying saucers, and of course, more importantly, the two roller coasters. This right here is Quantum Thruster. Now, Quantum Thruster in RCT2 at least has yellow supports and green track, and it really did not look very nice with the space theme. So I did change the color theming to fit it more. So it has silver or gray track and dark purple supports. So this one is also a really cool recreation. I really love how this turned out. And again, with the tunnel, I'm able to create like a cool launch experience, if you will. And yeah, again, I just used the rock ground, if you will, the rock color to make it look like you're on the moon or something like that, you know, just with a few craters here and there. So also has a decent station, you know, it looks like a mini spaceship or like a mini space station, if you will. And yeah, Quantum Thruster is quite high up, so I use these supports to kind of support the station. And then the last, but definitely not least, is one of my favorite pre-made roller coasters ever. Actually, let me just check real quick. Again, I forgot the stats. I'm sorry about that, guys. Quantum Thruster has 6.68 excitement, 689 intensity, and 442 nausea rating. And Grapevine, let's check out Grapevine real quick. Grapevine has 816 excitement, 729 intensity, and 358 nausea rating. All right, so last but not least, we have Lunar Launcher, which is probably my favorite pre-made ride because it's very complex, a lot of track, a lot of inversions, and it's very, you know, just so much craziness going around. So this was my favorite remake to do, but also the most difficult one because, again, I used the extended coaster. So this is not a direct import from RCT2. I completely retracked this to fit the, to make it more smooth of an experience if you ride it, because this has a lot of, it's a very fast roller coaster. It's actually still testing. Let me throw that open for people to enjoy. It's a very large, it's a very fast roller coaster. So if you use nothing but those bank turns, which was what I originally did, it's very chaotic and it looks very crappy, if you will. I don't know if that's the best word, but with the extended coaster, it looks and it feels a lot more smooth if you check out the POV. That does mean I had to make some changes. So this part, the ending part, is a little bit different than before, and also a few other pieces, but generally it follows the original layout quite well. And again, I used custom supports because they just look really nice. Unfortunately, that did mean that some parts of the roller coaster just could not be supported because they would like literally be in the middle of like piece of track and you would hit your face on the supports. So this small loop here is not supported, which looks kind of weird, but you know, it is what it is. You can't win them all. And yeah, that's pretty much the last. Actually, I'm going to put it at, let's go ahead and, let me just see if I can get this away. There you go. I'm going to close the UI and we can go into the night. And you can actually see the park at night a little bit. Lunar Launcher looks really cool at night because it has these blue neon lights. As you can see right now, it's starting to go. Quantum Thruster has no lights actually. Maybe I should add some lights in if I update this park a little bit more. The space theme also has this really cool like laser fencing, but it looks really cool at night. So, and of course, as you can see, I've put lights everywhere. And yeah, that's pretty much the park. Let me zoom out a little bit more. You can see the Wild West section. And of course, just like RCT2, if you make a really busy park, the game really cannot handle it quite well. So the frame rate really tanks, which is one thing that was kind of unfortunate when I did the POV, that at some points the FPS really dropped. And I don't think it's my PC because I have a pretty cutting edge gaming PC. It's just the game that is not used to handling so much textures and so much sprites and whatever not. So, but there you go. That is pretty much the park I've made. It includes, I think, a total of like 11 roller coasters. We can count them. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 recreations actually. Actually, I didn't count this one. I think 11 or 10. Either way, it has plenty of recreations from RCT1 and RCT2, and that is a complete park. I didn't just want to plop down the recreations and there you go, make some pathing. I really wanted the whole park to feel like an actual realistic park with a whole bunch of like features, you know, like lights and paths and, you know, benches, foliage, shops and everything. It has a whole bunch of like mechanics and everything to keep the park up and running. And I think I will try to, I'm not sure how to do it, but I will look into it. I'll put this up to so you guys can download it. Just make sure if you download it that you have, where is the scenery button? Let's see here, it has to be this one, because you need some custom scenery if you want to open up this park. 88 catwalk set, you need this one, and you need JCat Steelworks. If you don't have those, I don't think the park will load, so just make sure you have that. So yeah, this is the park. It looks awesome. I'm really proud of what I did. I hope you guys enjoyed the separate videos I made. Again, if you're interested in any of the POVs, then be sure to check out the separate videos. But yeah, that's the park, and that's all there is to it. So guys, thank you so much for watching these videos. I'm not sure if I'll do more RCT3 stuff in the future. This is pretty much the main reason why I reinstalled RCT3. I might do a few more remakes in the near future, perhaps. But for now, that is all I have to show you. So thanks again for checking out this video, guys. Take care and have yourself a wonderful day. See ya.